Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Hey up, everyone. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I am joined by the bestie, Priestley, for a bit of a chinwag. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, looking like a drumstick squasher.
After your training session yesterday,
Yeah.
all sunburnt and bruised up.
Oh, I've definitely. One of the lads actually said, "Do you want some sun cream?" I'm like, "Nah, it'll be fine, be fine." And then I'll caught a look at myself in the mirror earlier. I'm like, Jesus.
How much are you looking forward to this Creators Cup, Priestley?
Oh, I can't wait.
I know you've played at Wembley, mate, but this is going to be a big game. This big game.
I mean, I saw a bit of Just Yours earlier, and I commented saying I'm going to go Harold Schumacher on first person that comes near box. If you don't know who that is, Google it. You won't be disappointed.
I've said on my group chat today, first tackle, I'm leaving something in me. Charity, fun, all that, friends, all that. I'm leaving something in on that first challenge. Hopefully, it's one-on-one with you, buddy.
Yeah. Don't make promises you're not going to keep.
You'll need directions to the hospital, pal. By the time I'm done with you, buddy. I cannot wait for it. I'm only joking. Love you, man. But it's going to be a class day, mate. I can't wait for it. Joe Blackburn's done a fantastic job. But yeah, anyways, let's get into it. So I thought we'd do a bit of a chat today. Priestley likes to do you've got your head in social media more than I have, mate, so you send me screenshots all the time of some treacherous stories and treacherous comments that we see and hear quite often, or you do anyway, in group chat you send me them. So I thought we'd have a bit of a chat. We'll pull some on screen and we'll dissect a few of these comments that have been out by the fan base. I mean, to get picked to a player by Sunderland, let's be fair, Priestley, we don't even know the hard facts if we were really even in for him to the point of competing money-wise with Sunderland. Are we even asked that we haven't got Diarra? How do you feel before we sort of like go into it?
I mean, 3 weeks ago, nobody knew who we were.
Exactly.
And there's reports today that he's tripled his salary.
You'd expect that, though, wouldn't you?
He was on about 23 grand a week 3 days ago. Now he's on 70.
Yeah, I mean, 70 grand a week's not out of our sort of financial power, is it? But I just think in terms of when you look at the deal they put together for him, 30 million quid for a 21-year-old who's got no evidence he can play in the Premier League. Although, don't get me wrong, he may do, and if we'd have signed him, Priestley, we wouldn't be speaking like this. But there's like a bit of a rivalry sort of come out these last 48 hours, and there's this battle of who's the biggest club, and we're bigger than Leeds, and we're bigger than Sunderland. I'm quite happy, mate, because as you know, I've got a weekly show with Wayne to look forward to this next season. YouTube friends with my mate who's a Sunderland fan, so it's gonna make that a bit more spicier. I think I've had a few messages of Sunderland fans saying that they're a bigger club than us, and we can't compete with them with transfers, which I think is hilarious. But the fan base has gone into a bit of a meltdown over this one, Priestley. Albeit you haven't, I haven't. Sections of the fan base.
I mean,
really,
I think we're old enough to remember what happened at the turn of the century, where we spent big on players, it didn't work, and then we almost didn't have a club.
Yeah,
and I think some fans, like the younger generation, I don't think remember that.
No,
and think it's a bit like FIFA, where you can just spend whatever you want.
Yeah,
we had him valued at about 18, 19 million quid, and our first only bid was 23 all in. So we've already paid above, or bid above what we valued him at, and then Sunderland have come in and gone for 30 million. Fair enough.
Yeah, they've gazumped us on that one, mate. But like you say, you can't just You can't just go in with sort of fees like that for me. You've got to protect your club, haven't you? And like you say, you know, they've only just come up. They've had quite a few years in the wilderness. They've come up and they're starting to splash cash. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of when we first came up and we're signing Rodrigo for 30 million, I think, whatever it was, you know, and you look at his age at the time and you think, I'm not too sure. We spent a lot of money that first season back. We're a little bit more wise to it now. What I will say is, before we sort of get into it, we've signed 2 players already. And I know some people are saying, you know, 15 million for one, and then one's a free transfer, and you can put your narrative to whatever you want. If you want to push a negative narrative, you'll find a negative in every story, in every situation, Paul. But for 29th of June, going into July, we've already got 2 across, you know, 2 over the line already, Priestley. In terms of what we've done so far, are you fairly happy with the business?
I mean, Nemetra came out of nowhere, but his pedigree and he's a bit injury prone, but Fark has done well with Solomon and Byram managing injuries. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do.
No, it really is, mate. It really is. So keep your comments coming in.
Also, while you're on about Sunderland beating us to Diarra, there's another one as well, left back, Ronaldo, that they've signed.
Yeah, I've seen that today.
That apparently the beat us to the signing of.
I thought that was hilarious.
Now, we got mentioned once.
Yep.
That we'd approached him.
Yeah.
All that's happened there is we've approached him, gone, right, what do you want? He's gone, I want 100 grand a week. And we've gone, right, see you later. That's not anyone beating us to him. That's just us.
I agree.
Being savvy. And if the rumours I've heard are right and we're getting Goodmanson next week, I'll take that.
Hopefully, mate. But yeah, I thought that was funny. So my mate Wayne sent me a picture message today with the Ronaldo story on there. Ronaldo, and he'd highlighted the bit that it says on the article that Leeds were interested as well. And he was like, "Is this true? Is this a bigger story than?" I said, "No, there's no story to this in terms of a rivalry with Leeds for Ronaldo. It's a non-goer." Putting Leeds United in the article now, they're going to try and push this narrative now. You know, every player we go for, Everton are linked to it. They're going to try and push this player, this now that every Sunderland player that goes from they're linked with Leeds. It's just not true.
We did a video a few weeks ago, and how many players were we linked with, and how many players have since moved on to other teams?
I know. Being Laney, even in Sunderland fan here, I come in peace, lol. At the end of the day, until he plays for us, we won't know if he was worth it. No, and something I've pointed out a few times now since this broke is, for me, you've had to replace Joe Bellingham, right? Which is a fact. They've had to replace Joe Bellingham, Priestley, right? Just to maintain the side they come up with, right? And they still lost Tommy Watson, which I know he weren't a starter if everyone were fit, but he got the goal that got him up. So between Joe Bellingham and Tommy Watson, you've come up to Premier League and you've lost arguably two talented players from your squad, yeah? So they brought Diarra in, who was a young talent, great. Maybe he's better than Joe Bellingham. We won't know until we see him, right? But for me, there's no proof he's way better. So at best now, they're up to the level they got promoted on. They've just spent 30 million quid on this player. They still need to go again to improve on what they came up with, Priestley. We've already improved on what we come up with. They haven't, for me.
Can I say something that might sound a bit controversial?
Yeah.
I don't rate Joe Bellingham.
To be fair, some Sunderland fans don't.
I don't. The only reason he's gone to Dortmund for that much money is because of his surname.
Yeah, no, mate. There's Sunderland fans that say it as well. You know, he's a talent. He's okay. He's good. But when you talking the sort of money and you look, it's like you're already tipping him for that trajectory before you know if he's even that talented to get there. You know, it's like his future's already determined for him before he's even proved he's that good yet. And for all the times with Joe Bellingham, I don't want to go for a tangent here, but they say, you know, I want to be my own person, forge my own path and my own future. He goes to Dortmund, then his first goal, he does the whole Bellingham. You know, I just think you're saying all the right stuff, mate, but you're acting like your brother in every instance. But yeah, it is. But like I say, for me, signing Diarra, even if it's a like for like for Joe Bellingham, say he is, they still haven't improved on last season yet. Then have at best they need to go again. They've just spent 30 million, which I would assume would be their best, their top signing. Unless they get, you know, they've just smashed the club record there. Lafay were the last at 20 million, just on a 30 million now for Diarra. Are they going to go higher? You suggest not, but I've heard them saying they've still got a war chest of 250 million and stuff still. And how? Just a few comments I've seen. I've got them on my previous video.
The thing is, with the way PSR works, we've still got the one season we had in the Premier League over the last 3 years
Mm.
to fall back on. They've just had 3 years in the Championship.
Yeah, but what I will say with them is I don't like getting involved in the whole PSR stuff because it's all over my head, really. But like they've come up without, I know they signed Lefebvre, but they haven't spent masses of money and the wages aren't being massive to get up there. A little bit like when, I suppose, when Leeds come up that time, apart from Bielsa spending a lot of money on Bielsa's wage and stuff, it was sort of like a side that had gone up, you know, without having to spend masses and masses. I feel like Sunderland, PSR-wise, I've seen a few people say they might be okay PSR-wise because of that fact. You know, the one, how many years ago were they in League One? 4 years ago, something like that. So they've come up relatively quickly. I don't think the wages are massively high in the squad. So I don't know if that allows for a little bit more movement than maybe what Leeds United have got PSR-wise. I'm not too sure. But it looks like the main business. We'll be honest, Diarra, Ronaldo, decent business for Sunderland. But for me, they've still got a shitload more work to do, pal.
Yeah, I don't think you can really go into a Premier League season with Wilson Isidore as your main striker.
There were talk that, you know, certain sections of our fan base wouldn't have minded him at Leeds, but not for a main striker in Premier League. But I think he's a talent. But still, towards back in the last year,
I'm not going to trust people that have spent all day saying we should go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But you know, that's another one. If people on Twitter could stop saying Leeds should go out and get him, that'd be great.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? He'll only take him to go a goal drought of a couple of games. He'll be clipping up his fashion.
I've never seen a more obvious transfer at West Ham ever.
Yeah, that's fair, mate. That's fair.
Him and Danny Ings up front.
Yeah, you can see.
You're lucky if they manage 12 games between them.
Yeah, I know. Danny talks Leeds. If Diarra signed for us, we'd be bigging up. Yeah, well, to be fair, we liked what we saw, didn't we? But for 30 million,
that's the thing. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player because I think he is. I think he's a good player, but I don't want us to spend more than what we should on players.
100%, mate. That's the thing, isn't it? It's all right saying, you know, we'd have had him at Leeds, we would have done. But there would have also been sections at Fanbase if we'd have spent 30 million on this guy. It would have been thinking, that's a hell of a lot of money. And I love the profile of the player. 21 million quid, box to box midfielder, plays for Senegal, scored against England. It looks talented. The thing what gets me is why I think he'll do well is he's been a captain at 21-year-old at Strasbourg. So I think that shows you what kind of player he is, and he's a leader at 21. So that I think he'll have a good career. But like I say, for 30 million quid, if Leeds aren't prepared to go to that, that's fair enough. And you said to me, Priestley, didn't you, that there's no truth at all in the second bid from Leeds United that got rumoured. That would just put out there really to make us look like
a guy basically tweeted that Leeds offered to match the bid, but the player said no. And then an hour later, after he'd got all his engagements and got his money, he went, turns out, no, they didn't.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's just
people are going to use Leeds to drive up engagement, drive up fees. All Strasbourg have done is use our bid to go to Sunderland and say, look, if you want him, this is how much you can get him for. Yeah,
100%. 100%. Like I say, mate, you're going to have Sunderland fans and other fans that aren't Leeds fans driving that narrative that he's picked Sunderland over us because it's a funny story. We'd be saying the same if Scum went in for a player with someone else, you know, and they picked the other club. We'd be saying the same because it's funny. But the truth of the matter is Leeds did not offer the same package as Sunderland. And honestly, I am not biased in any sense at all. You know me, mate. Half the time I could be a lot more negative. I'd say you're biased, you know, blind faith, Priestley and all that. But it's one of them where I would, you know, I don't just say it because it's Leeds. Yeah, I don't know. I just think if you're going to come to Leeds or Sunderland, if the money were identical, the likelihood is Leeds will stay up over Sunderland. Right now, if you're a player signing right now, the likelihood is Leeds United are in a stronger position of staying up with Sunderland. And I think if Sunderland fans are honest right now, you'd have to say that's true because based on now we've just got the same squads as last season. You're weaker currently. I would suggest right now you're currently weaker. And we finished how many points in front of them? 14? Something like that?
24.
24, that one. 24 points, there you go. Ridiculous amount of points. So I would suggest that
don't forget, after it became obvious they weren't going to get automatically promoted, I think they took something like 4 points from the last 10 games.
Yeah, no, I know. And don't get me wrong, the brilliant to come through via playoffs, and we'd have given us left arm for that 2 years ago, pal. But like I say, I don't.
With Sean, get Calvert-Lewin on the free. I'm going to slap him.
Being Laney, have you bought a keeper yet? No, pal. But why aren't stressing about it? We need a keeper. Everybody knows it. It's the most obvious position that we need.
I'll say so. I can't wait for that Everton game when we start with Melly in goal and Anderson in 10. It's going to be amazing.
Nah, there's no chance. But yeah, let's. I want to bring some of these little clips up that we've got, right? So they're up in any order, these, mate. So we'll just bring them up as a come, and we'll see how I've clicked them up anyway. So these are some of the comments and stuff that Priestley and Mike, one of our friends, has pulled up for us. I've got a bit of a combination of them all here. So just to show the sort of level of meltdown from Leeds fans, I think the majority of Leeds fans, I think the reason is Farker, his reputation of being stubborn, playing favourites and running players into the ground is discouraging good players from coming here. It's as simple as that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think that's wild. With the likes of Diarra and Bulker, although he might not be going now, choosing to go to Sunderland over us, it's fair to say that the club, Farker and Underwood in particular, don't have much pull as we thought. Again, wild.
But that's the thing. That goalkeeper's not even going to Sunderland now.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
He's going to Saudi Arabia. So people are complaining over nothing.
It's a madness, mate. Like, this one annoyed me when you sent me this over. So this is, on 18th of June when we'd actually signed Jacobiol. Slow-ass transfer for a slow-ass centre-back. Ironic.
Mate, I'm not going to name that person, but he is the most miserable fucker on Twitter. Honestly.
It sounds it, mate. Sounds it.
Honestly, people watching this may know who that is. I'm not going to name him, but he has never got anything good to say.
It's a madness, that, right? Because I've heard a lot of credible people talk about it in the YouTube scene as well, right? He gets slated, does Jacobiol, for his pace, like he's some slug, right? He's just... Pace is not his best attribute. That does not mean he's slow. It's just not his best attribute. So I can't wait for him to play and prove a lot of people wrong, because I think he's going to be a baller.
The person who tweeted that, I was looking at his profile. One of his last tweets from yesterday was about Oliver Boast, I think his name is, going to Spurs, one of the academy players, for a 7-figure sum.
Yeah.
And all he put was 49ers are cashing in. I'm like, what are you on about?
Honestly, you get well wound up by it, don't you?
I don't get it. I just do not get it. I don't get why people just...
It's crazy. I know it's only a certain section, but I thought it'd be quite fun to go through some. So it's all wishful thinking.
I don't go looking for this stuff either. It's just
it just finds you. Hold on, it's all wishful thinking because it's never going to happen. We have bought one and got one on a free, but now we are struggling as usual to get any more over the line. Why are we struggling to get anyone over the line?
It's like I said to Callum earlier.
Yeah.
Who actually knows who our targets are?
Yeah,
no one. No one outside the 49ers knows who we're targeting.
No. but Priestley, it does apparently sound like we are doing our shopping in the bargain basement again.
Yeah, it does. Got no money to spend, apparently.
And I love this one as well, mate. Where does this team finish? Bear in mind, this team, look in this right corner, bottom right corner now, is probably what we're looking at for our main targets, or the targets we've been linked with through some sort of credibility. This team now is what probably most fans would quite like to start the season off, yeah? Pope in net, Goodmanson, Beall, Rodon, Bogle, Ampadu, whether you like it or not, Ampadu, Tanaka, Douglas, Mooney's up top with James and Nonto. There ain't not wrong with that, really, right? You look at that and he's literally put, where does this team finish? 19th, 18th if we're lucky. Not enough goals in that attacking three. Like, for me, again, what is with the negativity? That's a side there that we probably, a lot of fans wouldn't mind, mate.
That's the thing that he's going, that team's going to get relegated. It's all based on hypotheticals.
Yeah, I know it is.
Those players that are there, bar B-on, we might not even sign any of them.
It's a madness. Why everyone's so negative, mate? I don't understand it. I really, really don't understand why we're so negative. We've just been promoted. Great season last year. We've started off the transfer window fairly well with 2 signings in before. Look at that, Chris Baldwin, Fark out. I don't know if that's tongue in cheek, Chris, and everyone's welcome on this channel. And it's quite funny to get into the debate, but yeah, if you're a Fark outer, I
literally end all my segments with Fark out, so that's probably my fault.
You do, mate. To be fair, Michael Pollard. Where are the signings we didn't spend in January? We were told we would be triggering the work to bring in the bodies that we'd agreed weeks before the season ended. For me, we've got plenty of time still. Absolutely, bucket loads of time.
Plus, Graham Smith did say a couple of weeks ago that some of the players we've targeted, their agents have just come out and basically said they flat out refuse to play for a team that's likely to be battling relegation, which is fine. No issue with that. Move on to targets to players that do want to play for us.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%. I think GP26 has got it bang on here as well, mate. Managers no pulling power, be all Bogle, Tanaka, and there will be so much more. We have so much time to get this right. And that's the thing. Like, if this were the end of July, I'd understand the outcries from certain sections. You would, Priestley, if we're talking 4 or 5 weeks down the line and we've still only got them 2 players in, and a lot of these targets we're looking at, or supposedly looking at, joining the likes of Sunderland and etc., I'd understand. But right now, let's give it a couple of weeks. Like, we've still got plenty of time. Still, people still on holiday, mate.
I'm still working on the theory that once it gets to the 1st of July and PSR rolls over,
exactly,
you'll see a lot more business, because we've then got that flexibility and the financial firepower to do it. But just because we're not signing anybody now doesn't mean we haven't got targets. Doesn't mean we haven't got names that we're in talks with. I would be very surprised, and this is come from nowhere. This is just my personal opinion. So if it doesn't happen, don't come crying at me.
You're not doing any press ups if you don't get it right, no.
No.
Okay.
No, he's definitely doing them. By the way, I'm going to make sure he does them. I would be very surprised if we don't sign 2 players by the end of this week, or at least agree deals with teams for players.
Is that a left back in Goodmanson?
Yeah.
And who else are you thinking?
I've heard Longstaff.
Longstaff. They're the 2 that have sort of come out in the last 24 hours to me. Yeah.
And I know it'll be unpopular, but I'd have Longstaff.
I would, but would that be an underwhelming signing considering we just missed out on Diarra at Sunderland? Maybe not for you, but to some people it will be.
The way I'm thinking about it is, people say they want Premier League experienced players until we're actually signing a player with Premier League experience, and it's like, oh no, not him. Well, you either want Premier League experience or you don't.
Yeah. No, 100%, yeah. And you're going to have to get it.
Longstaff has made about 150 appearances for Newcastle.
Yep. And Priestley is only surplus to requirements now because of the calibre of player that are in that position. And you can't fault him for that. Newcastle's trajectory is now, it's gone.
You look at who he's competing with.
Exactly.
Look at who he's competing with. Tonali, Guimaraes, Joe Linton. Some
of the best in the Premier League, mate. Some of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
100%. Those players have got them to Champions League this season.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no disgrace in saying I'm not going to get in ahead of them. I'm going to leave.
100%. He's not a Champions League player.
I would imagine he will probably be Rothwell's replacement. But again, I would imagine our starting midfielders are going to be Ampadu and Tanaka.
I think so. Unpopular that is to many, but I think so.
Yeah, Sean Healy. He's on screen now as well.
He was, mate. He was. Yeah.
And Gruev and Longstaff for me would be 2 good backups. Yeah, people probably won't agree with Gruev, but
I do think though, if we were to sign Longstaff and that was his only midfielder we bring in, I think there would be a little bit of a meltdown from certain sections. I don't know whether I'd be really happy with that. Even though I really like Longstaff, I've said I wanted him from day one. I just think when the sort of Douglas Luiz links and the Diarra links, I sort of
don't get me wrong. If we sign Douglas Luiz as well, I'd be delighted.
Yeah, I sort of look at it and think Longstaff's there to be done. It's sort of that's been rumoured on and off on it for the last probably month. It's been one of his longest serving links that's still probably viable, mate, since the end of last season. I would love to get him in and another. I don't know if that's been a bit greedy. I have a little bit of a worry when it comes to Gruev, and I'm a massive Gruev fan. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it in Prem personally. I would love Longstaff to replace maybe a Gruev and bring in a top sort of eye-catching midfielder in terms of a Douglas Luiz, someone like that.
I still think we've got one massive signing in the works. I don't know who. I don't know who and I don't know what position, but I've just got a feeling that we're out there looking for the top players.
Yeah, mate, we're shooting for the stars with these signings, mate. That's what's so exciting. I mean, you're getting section at Fanbase frustrated that we're losing out to a Sunderland, but there's context that, like I said, they were willing to spend, for me, more than what he's probably worth right now and take that risk. Fair enough that they can do that. But the players we are looking at are exciting me because they're not screaming to me, we might go down, but we'll have a good team next season. You Ipswich and people like that. It's looking like we're signing players who are on the fringe of European football.
We signed championship players last season.
Yeah, knowing what we're going to happen.
Yeah, they did that thinking if we get relegated, we've got a championship team to get us back up. If we stay up, then we've got the money to spend.
Yeah.
They spent over 100 million last season, and you had like Liam Delap, who, fair enough, was probably the standout player.
Yeah, a good player.
But then Jack Clark, who was at Sunderland, I think they signed a couple of players from Hull, Amari Hutchinson that were on loan there.
Yeah.
And they signed that keeper from Burnley who got relegated the season before.
Yeah, they did.
And if we spent 100 million this summer and we bought 7 championship players, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, exactly. And you know for a fact we ain't looking there, mate. We ain't looking there. I know there's that talk of Hamer and all that, but we ain't looking at championship players on the whole, are we not? We're looking at...
It's like I said to Callum earlier again, all I've got to go on is last season, the 49ers got it spot on. Everybody was saying the same stuff they're saying now. The 49ers got it spot on. So they've got enough credit in bank for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. We have gone for a Metcher. If we'd known in advance that DCL would have been available on a free, sounds like the 49ers kind of deal.
I prefer the Metcher.
Yeah, I think I do. You know what it is with a Metcher, mate? Yeah, I know they'll say, well, they're both similar in terms of profile to a degree, and they're both been injured a lot. What I'll say about the Metcher is he's got 7 caps for Germany. If you get him playing at 26-year-old, I think that's all it is. If you get him playing and fit.
On the flip side of that, Michael Rickett's got capped by England, so...
Yeah, it did, to be fair, mate. But no, I do think Nemetcha is going to be a really good option for us if we can keep him fit. And what I'll say is the last free transfer that came through the door that had loads of injury woes and we were thinking he ain't going to play many minutes was Sam Byram, and he's done fantastic for the last 2 seasons. So if we can emulate anything in terms of Sam Byram sort of minutes on pitch, then he's going to be great. And there's not many players, is it? Like, you think, mate, if Leeds had assigned DCL, right, instead of Nemetcha, DCL would have wanted guaranteed starting minutes, I would assume, because I think DCL would come to Leeds and think, I'm a starting 9, right? You've got Nemetcha coming, knowing full well he's probably going to be fighting out for second, third spot. And he's okay with that. So that's a fantastic signing because he isn't coming. Don't get me wrong, he'll be hungry. He'll be trying to be that main 9. But there's no way will he be at Leeds now on the deal he's coming on expecting to start every game where DCL would. So I think that's why Nemetcha's a much better option for Leeds United. But it's a good point, 100%. Michael. It's a good point, Michael, it is. But
I've no issue with him coming in and not expecting to play much. Giavogi will have been the same last season.
Exactly.
He'll have come in knowing he's there for backup. And honestly, what a guy he must have been in the dressing room.
Oh, man.
I've never seen a player play some like 80-something minutes in the league over the course of a season and get the leaving messages that he got. They treated him like a hero, like a 12-year veteran that had won everything. I didn't even see Man City players giving De Bruyne that sort of exit. It's mad.
He's on holiday now, isn't he? Still in his Leeds United gear, and I just love it.
Kit, yeah, I've seen it.
Absolutely love it.
That's a point as well. You know, the guy I was saying I'm not going to call out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He put a post on about that as well, saying, fuck off, you're not a Leeds player anymore.
Really?
I'm like, miserable bastard. Miserable.
That's absolutely mental.
You need to get a hobby.
He has got a hobby, trolling on the internet, mate.
There's also one guy who just posts the same stuff under every tweet that's about a player that Leeds will be linked to it. And he tags the 49ers, he tags Jed York, he tags Leeds. He tags them all, and I'm like, but it's just always the same copy and paste job.
Yeah, it's madness, but it's
he must copy and paste the same thing about 50 times a day.
Mad, absolutely mad. A lot of people say they ain't good enough for us. Longstaff's not good enough for
Oh, you're all mad.
us.
You're all completely mad.
No, yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinions. They are, but I think I would love to get Longstaff because he's already got a massive ticket box from me as that underdog story. Because a lot of people have wrote him off, and I think if we signed him, a lot of people will be eating the words. I remember Joe Wayman saying that Rothwell was shite after 3 games.
Mate, I saw a dozen tweets and that within an hour of us being linked with him. People like, he's not good enough. He only scored 4 goals. Didn't score any goals for us, but it were
What a player.
Exactly what a player.
If we'd have stayed down again last year, heaven forbid, if we'd have stayed down, we'd have all been scrambling for Rothwell's signature.
Yeah.
We'd have all been scrambling. It's only because we've come up and the level, to be fair, I think if we'd have signed him, I don't think there'd be many people moaning about it. I just know we need to improve in certain areas, and that's one we need to improve in. But, there's argument that, a lot of proportionate fan base that love Rothwell to re-sign. Because I think it'd be a decent option and stuff, but I think obviously it's a position we need to improve in somewhere. And I think that's the obvious one now. You go if you can bring a Douglas Luiz in, even a Longstaff, even is it Siddiqui? No, Siddiqui, is it?
Siddiqui, yeah, I think
Siddiqui.
he's oh yeah, if Danny Rums is still about, check your dates next time.
What for the
for Siddiqui? Tagged Joe Wayman in something earlier that said Burnley are about to sign him, and then realised it was from 2 years ago.
I want it. Call it. John and Matt Priestley. At the end of the day, if we get right players out of the promoted teams, we will stay up. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to get your opinion, mate, on Keith Andrews as well, Priestley.
How does that feel? I think it's amazing.
Is that honestly right? Because I'm very much of the opinion now that that's just relegated Brentford. Am I over the top by saying that, or do you think it's that serious?
Well, people have pointed to the fact that when Dean Smith left, they promoted Thomas Frank from within. But yeah. Thomas Frank had loads of experience in Germany.
He wasn't just a set piece coach either, was
he? Yeah, Keith Andrews has coached at Sheffield United and got relegated, MK Dons and got relegated, and at part of one of the worst Irish teams in the last 20 years.
Mad.
But hey, they only conceded 3 goals from set pieces last season, so who knows?
Yeah, very true, mate. But yeah,
I know only Leeds bros had an argument with he who shall not be named.
Did they?
Yeah, who said that he's a better manager than Bielsa.
Oh, mate. Is that the same guy you're on about? Is that the same guy you're on about?
That's the same guy I'm on about.
Right.
He said he's a better coach than Farke. Technically, he's a better coach than Bielsa. And I've never wanted to hunt someone down more.
Honestly, Keith Andrews is.
Yeah, honestly, I will find you the tweets later. Because
mate, I've got him on my phone. Darren sent me him. I didn't realise it was the same guy you're on about.
That's the guy I'm on about.
Oh my word! It's absolute madness.
Because Darren obviously put relegated, and he just went, "Don't be stupid. He's a better coach than Bielsa."
The
thing is as well, I don't even think he's a Leeds fan because he's been on there openly trying to score Liverpool tickets.
Nah, it's not even worth mentioning them. We shouldn't even give time of day, mate. To be fair, shouldn't even give him time of day. Yeah, he did say with dog poo, mate. He did it funny. Anyway, a couple more. Hold on, one sec, Sean. Honest question: if we brought no bodies in and went with the current personnel, how do you think we'd fare in 25-26?
Relegated.
Yeah, right now, and you're a massive positive fan out of Priestley. You say that for a gritty teeth, but right now,
the squad we have got isn't good enough. We need to clear out some of the players that aren't going to play. And he's a really interesting one as well. Jack Harrison.
Don't even talk about Jack Harrison.
Does he stay and does he have a place in the team?
No. No, I don't think so. No. It's a bloody hard one, isn't it?
Because with Solomon leaving, there is a space in the left wing bracket.
Yeah, mate.
Do we go out and sign someone, or do we integrate Jack Harrison back? Personally, I'd like to see him go as far away as possible from the team.
Yeah, I know. There's a space there currently, and there's a totally different sort of profile of a winger to the rest of them. He'd be the only left-footed one we've got. I just thought Farke's not looking at it like that because that's going to take some.
Ramazan is left-footed, isn't he?
I think he's both. Ramazan is just everything, mate. It's just everything. It's just different.
I don't want to get you too excited on a Sunday night.
Exactly, mate. Skip, hey up, buddy. You know me. I love that picture about it. Are we all in agreement now? If Sheffield United had been promoted instead of Sunderland, they would have been less strong in the window. Yeah, probably would say so. I think with Sunderland coming up, you know, they are a huge club. They are a really big club of Sunderland. And I think there's that. When you look at Sheffield United, I honestly don't see anything other than just an up and down yo-yo side. Just like Burnley, I think Leeds have got all the potential now to build and push up. And I think Sunderland will be looking at that as well, thinking they could stay up. It's a tough ask for more than one side to stay up this season, though, considering what we've seen the last few years. But with the sort of signings they're making, it wouldn't surprise me.
Like I said previously, statistically, it is more likely that the 3 promoted teams stay up than get relegated.
But you think it's more realistic that we'd all stay up than all go down?
Statistically, it's more likely that all 3 promoted teams stay up than all get relegated.
Is it?
Yeah. In the history of the Premier League, all 3 promoted teams have stayed up 4 times. They've all been relegated 3 times.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, and 2 of those were the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, last 2 seasons. So it seems it's like recency biased, isn't it? Everyone's sort of looking at recency and go, it's all bookies have us going down.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is. If you base it over the last 20 years, like you've just proved that point there, haven't you? Skip, just go get Tagliafico. You'd like him, wouldn't you, Priestley?
Yeah, he's one I'd like, but apparently the whole Leon thing's going to get sorted and they're going to get put back into top division.
So who comes down then? Sunderland fan here, being Lane. Who goes down?
Who goes down this season?
Who goes down? If you had to pick now, who goes down? We don't know business of everyone yet, but who do you think goes down?
I think Burnley go down.
Bottom, Burnley.
I'm not gonna say positions. I'm just gonna tell you the 3 teams I think will go down. I think Burnley will go down.
Yeah.
I think Brentford are in real trouble. Not just with losing the manager, but
some of the players as well, maybe.
Yeah, they've lost him. They're going to lose in Buemo. That Semenyo's.
Are they going to lose Norgard maybe as well to Arsenal?
Norgard's gone to Arsenal. Yeah.
Big loss.
I think Bournemouth could be in trouble as well. They've lost some important players. They've lost Flecken. They've lost that Huijsen.
Yeah. But they've got a lot of money in for them players and they've got a good manager, so I think they'll do enough. The obvious one staring your face in it is Brentford, Burnley, and probably Sunderland, just based on the fact that we aren't going to say yourself. And I'm sure, to be fair, mate,
West Ham, I think they'll struggle. Wolves, I think, will struggle.
Do you think Everton might struggle, especially with the new stadium? We saw West Ham. You don't think, no?
No, I think Everton will be okay. Like you say, with the new stadium.
But could that not have a negative effect?
They'll get the fans bouncing, and I think Moyes is a good manager.
Yeah, I think Moyes. Yeah,
I wouldn't have him at Leeds, but I think he's a good manager.
Sometimes though, it don't matter in terms of you won't have him at Leeds. He's a good manager for Everton, though, isn't he? For Everton, it's a good mix.
Oh yeah.
Just like Wilder at Sheffield United, it's a good mix, but you won't want him anywhere else. Sometimes a manager works at a club to a degree, and that
100%.
Moyes and Everton's a perfect match. And yeah, no, that's fair, mate. But I think if we were on a Sunderland stream now, I think a Sunderland fan Priestley would say Burnley, Brentford, and Leeds. I would suggest that's what they probably say.
I would just like to point out that I didn't say Sunderland, you did. So
only because I don't know who else to name, pal. I don't know
because you saw a Sunderland fan in chat and thought I'm gonna go in and sending some more of his mates here.
Yeah, send some more of your mates here. I don't know if you know Laney, but Wayne at Only Fools and SAFC. I don't know if that's how you've seen me, buddy, but we have got a weekly show that's going to be coming in the next few weeks called Bridging the Gap. With a little punt in there about Michael Bridges, going to play for both clubs. But it's going to be a weekly show, Bridging the Gap, me and Wayne. And this transfer story of Diarra's definitely set the mood across both fan bases. It's got a little bit tasty. Me and Wayne are very good friends, to be fair, but this has got very tasty. So I'm hoping it sets up for a nice little rivalry. But I do hope we're way clear of you guys, but we'll have to see how it goes. But it's a nice little start to that. We need some non-event this week for me. Loads to do. I expect Firpo and Byram to leave tomorrow. That means 2 left backs. Do you expect anything to come out with Byram staying, mate, or do you think that's him gone? Byram.
Well, he got married, didn't he? So he's probably on his honeymoon.
Yeah. Do you think Leeds will offer him something?
Leeds have offered him a deal.
Ah, right. Okay.
I'd keep him, solely because for the experience of the homegrown quota.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. What I'll say is if we have offered him a deal, Priestley, which the first I've heard of it, you saying that, I think he stays. I don't think he'd turn Leeds down. I think it's a case that if Leeds don't offer him it, fair enough. I think if Leeds offer him it, he'll stay. I know money and all that is coming to end.
When they released the retained list, you know, where all the players that
it did actually say, didn't it? Yeah,
it did actually say we have offered these players deals. Whether they accept them or not is theirs. I know Furbo's leaving because he's been doing some Real Betis stuff on Instagram.
He's done a Garnacho, hasn't he? He's done a Garnacho.
Yeah, he sat there with a Real Betis shirt with Mark Rocket. He couldn't have picked a worse player.
I know, mate. Matty and Priestley thoughts on Vinny Souza leaving Blades. Not surprised. Not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but I won't have him.
I like him, but at the minute we're linked with Douglas Luiz, who's a better version. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, unless it's Vinny Junior, in which case, yeah.
Yeah, Burnley, Sunderland, and West Bam instead of Brentford. Sunderland, Burnley, scum 18.
We can hope.
What about this guy, Angus Star, Himad Abdelli? I've heard a little bit. He's been rumoured before as well.
Yeah,
I've
seen a couple, but the main one came from Footy Insider, and it's not worth fucking toilet paper it's written on.
You not think? He didn't look at my players.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen them get anything right. This is the publication that said Nonto was joining Everton 3 seasons running, and he's still here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Being Laney, I hope we survive, even just. But being realistic, it's likely we will go straight back down. But I hope if it's not us, that it's you lot that changed the recent narrative. Yeah, well, it's gonna be tough for any of us to stay up. We've all got a lot of work to do. And like you said, Priestley, currently we would go down now. And I don't even. It's obvious now without a left back and the couple of holes that are there. But even before that, even with the side that came up, you know, with a full squad, it would go back down currently. That's all. Like I say, there's a lot of work to do for all of us.
I don't think we're far off, but we've not got the depth required.
Yeah, not currently. But everything's pointing in the right direction for us having a good rest at window for me. Just people have jumped a little bit early on bandwagon saying that we.
I fully believe that the 49ers are gonna get it right.
Yeah, they haven't got much wrong, have they? If anything, at the minute, up to press. So, I don't think there's any reason to panic. Realistically, I would like all incomings done by the start of the preseason. Says Skip, but can't see. Yeah, in an ideal world, you want them all done for that first game. It isn't going to happen, but I do think we're going to get a couple more. I think I'm same as you, Priestley. Maybe next 7 to 10 days, I expect another couple in, and then you're going into that scum game with maybe 4 or 5 players in.
Well, it's 3 weeks till scum game, isn't it?
Yeah. There's going to be a fair few.
I would imagine we'll probably get 3 or 4 in before then. Because that's when the pre-season properly starts.
Yeah, I agree. You found me on TikTok, buddy. I'm making a fool of myself, I'm sure. Jammy, smash a like and subscribe to our Matt. Yeah, cheers, Jammy. Please do. Please stick a like on the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. Would you keep Gruev, SB? I'm a big Gruev fan. I just think we need to improve in some places, and I would keep him if we were going to sign 1 centre mid. I would love us to get 2 centre mids, so I would pass on.
That's the thing as well. There's no room for sentiment.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no room for sentiment when it comes to getting promoted.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Gruev is a good player at championship level, very good player at championship level, right? I think he would be 4th choice. Whoever we bring in centre mid, he will be 4th choice. I would rather have a Longstaff and a Douglas Luiz as 3rd and 4th choice. Well, of course. You think if you get Luiz, you get Longstaff, and you've got Ampadu and Tanaka, that's depth there that, you know, a Rothwell and a Gruev can't compete with for me. So I like Gruev. It would be 4th option, which is fine. But if we can get a Longstaff who's 3rd, 4th option and a Douglas Luiz, then it's chalk and cheese for me. We're miles off this at the moment, Priestley. Yeah, we are. Well, at the minute we are miles off, yeah, 100%. But we will get there for me. Smash like, subscribe.
That's literally what I've just said.
It is. I'm reading that thinking that's just what you've just said. Do you think we go in again for Moonies? Again, you know what it is, Priestley? I would have said yes before. But I feel like we have a top end in mind, and if we've already hit that top end and they've said no, we ain't going back in for no one. We ain't going to bend.
I saw one from a guy in Brazil who said we're going back in with a second bid, and it's going to be higher than what it was before. And the guy who reported it is apparently really good friends with Muniz. So if anybody's going to know it, it'd be him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Where we sending Bamford, he has to go, surely. I think he's staying, Mike. I think he's staying.
Bamford's going to be a different animal next season.
What do you mean by that? What kind of animal?
You'll see. He's going to get a surprise call up to England World Cup.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Yeah, absolutely no chance for me. Yeah,
more chance than me playing for England.
100%, mate. 100%. Matty and Priest have Hamer or Buendia. I take both. That ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I've always been a Buendia fan. I'll take the risk on Buendia. Yeah, I've always rated Buendia. The injuries, it's an Arden. Do you think we get either of them though, Priestley? I actually don't.
I do think we get Buendia. I think we get him later into the window.
100%. Yeah, maybe.
I think, like I said, you've got to wait for other players to make moves, other clubs to make moves. By the start of the season, how likely is it that Buendia is going to be getting the game time that he wants? And will he push a move, and will Leeds go in for him? I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
But as for his injuries, again, it goes back to what was said before with Solomon and Byram. Farke's been really good at managing injuries.
100% he has, yeah. I think it's one of them. I used to say about Calvin when everyone say Calvin come to Leeds. Poor move to go for Calvin, and he won't come, and I don't want to go down that road. But like, I think coming to Leeds and get the best out of Calvin, the best he could be. With Buendia, I think Farke is the man to get the best out of Buendia. Wherever Buendia goes in his career now, I think for Buendia to get partnered back with Farke would be the best for Buendia. That's what I believe.
It's like 4 weeks ago, Calvin Phillips were days away from signing for Leeds. I've not heard of it since.
Oh, look at that Bamford, a different animal. Head parrot, baby. Oh, God, a pussycat, Priestley. Apparently, he's already been in training for 2 weeks. Bamford, yeah, good. I mean, I seen Ramazani training as well. They're all sticking to putting it in. They're going to have to hard yards to get ready for Premier League. They all know how hard it's going to be.
And another thing as well, a lot of players are still on their holidays.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, hey up, Alan Parks. Hey up, mate. Getting a lot of Sunderland fans in here, which is great for our show, isn't it? Sunderland fan here. I think we'll both stay up.
I actually hope Sunderland do stay up.
Why? Because you want 6 points?
No, because I do think in their own right they're a big club. I don't think they're bigger than us, but I do think they're a big club.
I had a comment on my video I think it was Late Night Leeds, that one I did yesterday, and yeah, someone actually put the stats out there of how many titles they've won and that, and they'd won more trophies than Leeds. So, and obviously they have more fans than Leeds and all this. So their argument was that, and you know, whichever side of the fence you sit on, you're going to have an argument for your own club. Right? So I have nothing but respect for any Sunderland fans that think they're bigger than Leeds. We're obviously going to say we're bigger than them. But when it Bosnas in our chat, I can't remember, it was someone in our group chat says, yeah, but to be fair, Sunderland, no, it might have been Robbo, have never been a big Premier League club, a big top flight club. They're always been mixing towards the bottom end. So that's his argument for it. So there's arguments for every single, to fight every case. For me,
what you've got to look at as well is, when did Sunderland win these trophies?
Before our Revy trophies, weren't they? Before our Revy, like I think there were 60s. I think maybe I'm sure there were 60s. Is
that when Huddersfield fans going like, "Oh, we won 3 league titles in a row"?
I love it, Alan. We love our banter on here, don't we, pal? We love our banter, so I'm here for it. But yeah, it's like old though, mate. I'm very nostalgic. You are too, Priestley. Old sticker books growing up, they always have Sunderland in it. And yeah, I would love you to stay up. You look at Premier League now, and Bournemouths and your Brightons and your there's just so many clubs in there who just, for me, and I know you're there on merit, and these clubs are very well run now, but nostalgic. I look and I go, I want to see Sunderland in there. I want to see Leeds.
Bournemouth get about 11,000 per game.
That's what I mean.
In the Premier League.
I know. It's a madness, isn't it, when you compare it to, even teams in League One now get more. But didn't Bradford City sell the stadium out in League Two?
Slap you.
To all the new people coming, sorry about the person that he's homeless and uses his phone.
I've got the light on, you prick.
Oh God, honestly, don't like moths. Keeps moths out. What you was thinking of Pope coming? Hearing deals pretty much done, and soon on Trafford signs he's away. Again,
Where have you heard that?
Niall Smith. Where have you heard that, buddy?
I've heard the opposite, that he's staying happy to be number 2.
Yeah, we've heard that, haven't we, from quite reliable sources. Happy to be number 2. Let's hope that changes, because Pope's my number 1 choice. I would love Pope. But,
Well, there was that private flight came in yesterday from Augsburg, which is where we are linked with a keeper early on in the window.
All right. Do we know him?
Finn Darman, I think his name was.
Finn Darman. Yeah.
He had the best save percentage in the top 5 leagues last season.
And this is why I've been a lot quieter on YouTube recently. When you've got my pal here to my right talking about private jets, I can't be arsed with this, mate. Just give me the chuffing football back. This is awful. I can give you my opinion.
Again, that wasn't something I went looking for. That popped up on Twitter.
No, I know. Yeah, but you're invested in Twitter. You're looking at all. It's just not my bag, mate. It's just not my bag. Quick and Priestley, who's the better player, Hamer or Longstaff? Different players. You'd take Longstaff over Hamer when you're all day long.
Yeah, different players, different positions.
Yeah, it's what you do. Bournemouth had a baby. Liverpool, says Herbert. It's what you do on the part of the man. No, it is. And to be fair, they've done well. But when you look at, from a fan's perspective, I'd rather go watch Leeds play away at Sunderland than I'd rather go to than Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of... There's pros and cons for every single side, and you can look at it, but it's been all over whack up, hasn't it, that, mate? And the Northern Echo reported it as well.
Fair enough. Like I say, we've heard different that is happy to be a number 2, which is weird. It's
mental, really. When he's still good enough, really, to be in the conversation for playing for England, he is still good enough for me, Pope, to be in that conversation. I know they've got some really good talent now. You know, obviously you've got Pickford still, but Trafford himself we're pushing, and I think Henderson, you've got a few there, but Pope is good enough to be in conversation. To sit as number 2 is a bit wild for me, but I like I say, the source we've sort of heard it from, we've got no reason not to believe it, have we? Me and Priestley are Matty's eyes. You are, Mike. You too.
Mike, you're much better at this than me.
Yeah, to be fair, Mike.
Every time I'm at work and we watch Pings and I see that he's put a photo in group chat, I'm like, right, who is it today?
Yeah, exactly. Like Mike's like Priestley on steroids, isn't it, Priestley? Yeah. It's like you on steroids. I know you both will hate this, but would you mind Josh Sargent? Whoops, joking. Good job, you joking, John Pepper. No, mate. Again, championship level, yeah, I wouldn't have minded him, but not at this level now.
If we were going to take anyone from Norwich, I'd take Borja Signs, but...
Hey, Michael would have Hamer. Yeah, it's opinions, mate. I get the conversation for Hamer. We definitely need some player like that in that 10 role, but for me, I'd rather have Longstaff, get that midfield sorted, and then look for someone different to Hamer. But like I say, I've always been a Buendia fan, so I'd always go down that route. Me, I think we're both big clubs. We tick different stats, so we both have decent reasons for the argument. However, we win, obviously. I love that. I love that, mate. I don't expect you to say what else either, mate, other than that. You should be back in your team.
At least we're the biggest club in our area.
Mate, I'd seen a social media thing earlier when it showed you all areas and said biggest club. The biggest clickbait thing I've ever seen was they put Yorkshire, they put Huddersfield as the biggest club in Yorkshire, right? I was like, this is the most cringy clickbait thing I've ever seen, just to get clicks, because you know Leeds fans are going nuts. So I didn't buy it. I didn't even click on comment section, just let it go. But oh my word, so funny. I think we might end up with that Sadiq. I hope so, Niall.
Yeah,
he looks like he's got more. He's a more versatile player to Diarra, but maybe he's not as good. We'll have to see. But he looks very good, and he looks he's about half at price, isn't he?
That video we did a few weeks back where I think the count was about 48 players.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, mate. It was ridiculous. It's gotten better, hasn't it?
And then a couple of days later, we signed the Metcha, and nobody knew about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, you get a lot of people have to put content out. I just come on as and when I want a bit of a chat with my mates, but a lot of people have got to put content out, then that's fair enough. But there's that many links, Priest, like you said, we'll be doing five or six streams a day, really, to keep up with the nonsense that's been regurgitated crap, really, for the last 6 weeks. Now it's got more credible. It's got a bit more exciting. Some of the links you can see now, the credible ones are coming out a bit more as we've got closer to July 1st. But that first month, Priestley, What awful, wasn't it? Absolute
I,
dribble.
I was seeing stuff the day we were promoted.
Yeah, no, mate, we were sacking as manager before we won league when we just got
Yeah.
promoted. We were sacking as manager day after promotion.
No, we're on about doing a
Brutal.
parade on Monday, on Friday. We're on about sacking him. What the fuck's going on?
Absolutely brutal, mate. Yeah, he goes from open top bus to job centre. Absolutely mental. Longstaff will not come to sit on the bench, but he wouldn't. We wouldn't sell him the dreamer sitting on bench, Paul. Maybe he would, potentially end up on the bench, but he would come to Leeds and think he's better than Ampadu. He'd probably think he's got a chance of a Tanaka. He would. He wouldn't look at Tanaka and Ampadu and be worried about that. Definitely not Gruev.
Yeah, you've got to sell it as okay, you might not start to begin with,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
after that, who knows? You play well enough when you do get your chance.
100%. Mate, he's been playing with Tonali and Gimenez and all, like you said, and he's still been getting minutes. He will not look at Tanaka and Ampadu and think he won't get any minutes. That's a fact. That's a fact. He's
100%.
It'd be a decent player in our engine room for me. It'd be a decent player in our engine room. We're definitely better than Gateshead when you said not better in and whom like some physicality, athleticism, and height. Yeah, I think we're looking at physical players. Starting with Biol at back. I think that spine needs strengthening. So yeah, we need a runner in that midfield, someone who's
And we need a goalkeeper that's not got biscuit for wrists.
Yeah, that's going to be a major one for us to tick off that list is that goalkeeper, it pal. And like I said, it's going to rumble on. And I said that was the most important signing for us, and now I've changed my mind. I think we need a keeper, but it's not the first that I need ticking off. That can rumble on for a few more weeks, Priestley. We spoke about it on Late Night Leeds, me, Sean, and Adam. That's not a key player we need right now. That can wait another few weeks for me, Priest. We've got other areas that need tweaking first. Areas that you need to get in for pre-season to build that cohesion with an outfield teammates. I think you can bring a keeper in a couple of weeks for season. He can just come in and do a job. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's vital right now, Priestley.
I would like to see a keeper come in and play at least one of the friendlies. So maybe the end of July.
Don't get me wrong. Ideally, I'd like every single new player to play in that role, but it isn't going to stress me out if we've still got 2 weeks before we kick off against Everton and we still haven't got a keeper. I aren't going to be like Danny saying this may start season in goal. Honestly, I don't think you see him ever put on a Leeds United shirt again, Danny. I really don't. I genuinely don't. Yeah, and I know you really, really want him to, mate, just to sort of push what you've been saying. You'll really want him to play, but there's no way. If he starts against Everton, I'm probably, really, really stressing about relegation.
Mate, you're probably gonna chuck yourself off your seat in top of East Stand.
Mate, if he starts against Everton, me and you are getting in that car and we are going toe to toe, mate. We will have a fight in that car, mate. We'll be scrapping in that car.
It's like Russian car fighting.
41 born in Europe and Sunderland. I'm not sure what stats. I think they want title more than us for a fact. Really think something needs to be done to reduce the gap between the Championship and the Premier League. All three clubs suffer a massive disadvantage. Yeah, Alan, it's disgraceful that it's like we've got us. We're in handcuffs before we even kick a ball, and you could argue we should be given less restrictions and more money and be able to push the envelope more.
As soon as Newcastle became the richest club in the world,
of course he is.
They were like, "Oh right, you got to sell players before you can buy."
Yeah, no.
And they don't say them to Villa. Villa got in Champions League, and all of a sudden it's like, right, you've got to sell these players.
Yeah, it's shit.
Why?
It's shit.
They've got the revenue from finishing fourth in league. They've got the Champions League revenue. They've still got the revenue from the players they sold the previous season. Why do they need to sell anyone before 30th of June? It's stupid.
Yeah, it's
and then you've got Liverpool have spent 200 million already. Man City have spent about 130. Scum are about to reach 125. Chelsea signing that João Pedro that they don't need
for 50 million quid, but they don't. Yeah,
and that Gittins for 40. So that's 90 million on two players, plus all the other players have signed. It's just like
it's a madness, isn't it? It's an absolute joke.
I get that it's because of revenue brought in and stuff like that, but at the same time,
you're just trying to keep the rich clubs, those historical top 4, top 5 teams up there, aren't you? You're just trying your best to keep it like that. You're monopolising the league, and it's crap.
I saw someone say the amount of money that Chelsea have thrown Brighton's way in the last few years. They must have spent 200 million on Brighton players.
Well, spent 105, 110 on Casado, didn't they? Which were ridiculous.
Oh,
Have we
yeah,
been
it's
linked
even
to?
more than.
Who have we been linked with in terms of keepers?
Haven't we been linked with? We've got that. I think is it Perez from Leon, Petrovic from Chelsea, Pope, Darman from Augsburg. I think are the main ones. We were slightly linked with that Polish goalkeeper that everybody thought was going to Sunderland. Is now going to Saudi Arabia or Qatar. I've not seen anything concrete, to be honest.
No. Ramsdale, Pope, they're the ones that have been spoke about.
Ramsdale, that's another one.
Yeah.
Ramsdale, that's another one. But
People don't want
apparently
Ramsdale.
is available for 20 million.
I'd have Ramsdale. I would have him 100%. I would. Look at this. If this is right, without googling it, I don't know. Reality check: Sunderland 6 titles, 5 of which were before 1990 when we were even formed.
Sounds about right.
I don't know how true that is. Yeah, if that's right, then buddy, fair enough. But it's going to be funny for this season. Just going into this with
they were winning titles before the offside rule was formed.
Yeah, no, I see that a lot, Niall. I see that a lot, and I understand he's not very well liked, I don't think, in the football world, really. Ramsdale,
the thing is, Ramsdale's a shithouse, and I like a shithouse.
They always fit in well at Leeds.
People go, we don't want Ramsdale as a shithouse, but in the same breath they'll go, oh, Click, he were a legend, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was Click were a shithouse. It's what he did.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring in a few more. Caught up with chat now, so I'm going to bring in a few more of these little messages just to bring him on foot laugh. Some of these more comments we've seen. We got fucking hijacked by Sunderland. I want to die. Can you do impression SpongeBob? No, fancy it?
No.
Nah, me neither.
To be fair, you look more like Patrick Starr. So
I do, Patrick Starfish. Chocolate. Leeds recruitment team. At the moment,
it's evolved again.
Here we go. Leeds recruitment team at the minute. Again, don't agree with it. Look at this. In 2022, our front four under Jesse Marsh was Bamford, Harrison, Aronson, and James. In 2025, and Daniel Farker could still select this front four. Mental that you'd even suggest that. But we'll be lucky to get any more significant signings through the door at Ellen Road. Based on what? This is a Leeds United fan saying we won't get...
This is on a post on a Leeds United page on Facebook.
Honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the banter ones, them sleeping. Anyone going to check up on the 49ers, they say they negotiate contracts in their sleep. Anyone worried they may have slept a bit too long. I can go along with that. That's funny. That's fair enough. But that will be lucky to get any more significant side. It's just untrue.
It's based on absolutely nothing. People are acting like the window closes tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they are. It's ludicrous, mate. It's absolutely mental. Like, we're Leeds United. We do. What are you laughing at there?
That comment then, Sunderland performed before Hartlepool stopped hanging monkeys.
we just need to calm down a little bit. Like, Leeds notoriously do things the hard way, right? We do things the difficult way. The fact we've got 2 in before July says we're a different animal to what we've known the club to be. So there's no need for me at all to get worried.
Even with B.O., people were making stuff up, saying he's gone to Newcastle instead. Why? Why would you even say that? I mean, I get that you're taking the piss, you try to troll everybody, but there's no. It was one reporter said Newcastle were interested in him, but he'd already given his word to Leeds. We'd met with him, given him his contract, he'd signed it, he'd given his word to Leeds, and then he got married and went on his honeymoon. That's why it took so long.
Yeah, no, it did. It did. It's been an hard window to negotiate so far, based on the fact that we got done so early, raised expectations that we should have signed loads of players because we were promoted early, and then you've had like the Club World Cup. It's just been a bit of a mad one. The fact that it's still so early as well just plays into the fact that, you know, there should be no meltdowns happening just about yet. You know, teams Sunderland have signed. I mean, it hasn't been officially announced yet, has it? But we know he's gone there. The Here We Go and all that. They've signed a player that we were heavily linked with. It's not the end of the world.
People were
not the end of the world.
People were going on about Burnley signing all these players, and I'm like, yeah, because they had to. That's literally what a loan to buy obligation is.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
They loaned these
100%.
players and had to buy them if they got promoted. I mean, they bought Jadon Anthony for $8.5 million.
They spent about 30-odd million, 40-odd million on players that are championship players. It's not a good start.
They spent $8.5 million on Jadon Anthony, about 15 on that Bashir Humphreys, about 10 million on Marcus Edwards, and then they've got that Zian Fleming as well. But again, they've only bought them because they had to.
And you won't take any of them.
No.
You're going to say Edwards now, aren't you? But no.
No, I was going to say the only one I think might be Prem standard is Edwards.
Is Edwards, yeah. But you still won't be asked of him at least, but he's probably the only one you go, yeah, probably a Prem player. Yeah, I get that. Outs, Mez, Greenwood, Joffit, Joseph, Jabit, Firpo, potentially Barham, DeMayo loan, Charlie Crew loan. Yeah, that's probably what we're all looking at.
The thing is, Greenwood, Joffit and Jabit, if we can get 3 or 4 million each for them, that's all pure profit.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what we're looking at. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Joffrey go for 3-4 million. I wouldn't be surprised. Apparently, Friday from Dusseldorf coming in tomorrow at airport near Mönchengladbach. Mike's sat there watching with his binoculars.
Flight tracker.
Yeah,
download Flight Tracker. It's amazing.
Yeah, big up Archie Gray and Charlie Cresswell buzzing with that last night. I'd love McAtee. Kid looks amazing. Yeah, it's gone quiet. That was the one early doors when I was like, this is going to happen. It's just gone quiet on it.
And but then he was linked with Leverkusen. Apparently, they were buying him, and it's one of those again where you can just throw names of players and Leeds United in a sentence, and people are like, "Oh, we're signing him," and then when we don't sign him, fucking 49ers are useless.
Yeah, cashing on Nonto. Do you reckon to that? I wouldn't, Herbert. I wouldn't.
I think if we get a decent enough bid, I think if we are going to sell one player for PSR, it'd be Strauch.
Yeah, that's the worry.
Because he didn't cost us anything, so we'd get a bigger margin.
I agree. Yeah, me too, mate. I want a big physical 9. I really do. Niall Smith. I could do a whole stream on this, Niall. I'm a Farker fan to a degree, but it really, really irritates me. So the negative side of me would say he couldn't get, and I know there'll be context to be applied, is they didn't do well in training. They were doing stuff, when we look at Jed Spence, all this stuff, right? But you look at Jed Spence, couldn't get a tune out of Jed Spence. He's not, you can argue and say Spurs were shite last season, played at Spurs, won a Europa League, right? Couldn't get a tune out of Jed Spence. Couldn't get a tune out of Ramazani, which everyone knows I'm a massive fanboy of. Didn't utilise Jadon Anthony, who had a good season for Burnley, went up. Charlie Cresswell, he's had a lot of issues. He had issues with Buendia, Cantwell. He's had a lot of issues with people. And I sometimes just think, I look at Farke and I think, maybe you're just a little bit too one way and it rubs people the wrong way.
The whole Spence thing, that the final, he always turned up late for training, but the final straw was when they went to do a hospital visit, for sick kids. Yeah. And he turned up late for that.
Yeah, well, obviously, I can't defend that. But that's just
that was the final straw in a long list of grievances.
But I do have issues with, like, say, the Charlie Cresswell one as well. I think he's going to go on and have a top career. I really do. I thought he was. Go back a few years when we played West Ham a fair few years ago. I feel like he pocketed Mikel Antonio in a game where he should have been bullied by Antonio. Round about that time, you could see him going on future and play for England. He's captain under 21s. It's probably his next step is to, move to a decent European club. I don't know if Como's that, but he's looking at going there. Will he play for England one day, Charlie Cresswell? I believe he will. I think he will play for England. And it's one we've missed out on just because, our manager at the time didn't rate him. Will our manager be there in 12 months? I don't know. But Charlie Cresswell could have been there for another 5 years. So it will always bug me. But I've got to be Farking. I've got to back him. Everyone does stuff to annoy me. Our last pisses me off most nights, just like I piss her off. But, that does bug me now. I can't lie. It does bug me. And I think it's one we missed out on. Yeah, doing the same Ramazani. I'm on the same boat as you with that, Niall. But he's a manager. He lives and dies by his decision, doesn't he? And that's it.
I saw someone say that the reason isn't. What did that say then?
What was that? Just as a prick.
I saw someone say that the reason he don't like Ramazani is because he's racist.
Yeah, that's a shocker. That's an absolute shocker. Lou said that same guy on X who said all other stuff. Now that's just.
Do you know something? It
shocking.
might have been.
There you go.
It might have been.
It probably was. It probably was that same tool who just keeps saying all this shit. But yeah, that's obviously way wider truth. Devil's advocate here. All top managers are stubborn and dictates players. They do not. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You've got to be at that level to sort of keep people in line and stuff. But I will say there's a certain amount of players, and Charlie Cresswell and Ramazani for me, I'm massive fans of. So I do look into them a little bit more. I see Ramazani at Leeds. I don't see there being a massive problem in his training levels. I've heard different from the same people who sort of told us stuff we were talking about earlier, and I've heard that there's no issue with Ramazani's training. It's just one of them things, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Cressy will be another Tom Kearney, go on to have a decent career regardless. Night all, night, mate. Thanks for dropping in, being Lenny. Really appreciate it. Nice banter with you. And just bring this last line up because I put 3 together. So some more comments on here. Embarrassed by the Black Cats. Wow, what a thoroughly disappointed window. This is turning out to be. How many weeks are left at window, Priestley? About 8?
What is it?
How many weeks?
9 weeks.
9 weeks left, but it's turning out to be.
First of September it closes.
Yeah, so 9 weeks left. It's turning out to be a really rubbish window with 9 weeks left.
Shit so far. I mean, all 2 weeks of it.
It's the hope that kills you and all that. Would be a kick in the balls to lose him to Sunderland. Don't mind that comment. It is what it is. We've pissed about and lost out. Lovely stuff. There's no pissing about. We wouldn't go to what they demanded. Simple as that.
We made a bid, and apparently Sunderland didn't even respond to it.
Yeah.
Not Sunderland, Strasbourg, sorry.
Strasbourg didn't respond to it.
Didn't even respond to it. And then Sunderland have gone, oh, we'll give you 30 million. That'll do.
This one got me. Romano obviously tweets out about Sunderland going in for him, and then it's amazing how we're sleeping so much right now. 49ers are pissing away any chance of survival. Again, very wild statement.
And again, that's
very
the
wild.
That's not even joining.
That's not even going to Sunderland, yeah. So again, you know, it's a madness. I tell you what, if he doesn't go there, I mean, he's suggesting there they've only opened talks, says Romano, because it's got Romano's blue tick next to it. It's him saying everyone just takes it as gospel that it's happened because he's come out and said it. He hasn't put here we go. He's signed. It's just they've opened talks. Just because you open talks to someone don't mean they definitely sign. But for anyone to suggest that we are pissing away any chance of survival because of the couple of players that we may or may not have, you know, gone all out for, or we may have missed out on, I just think it's ludicrous. I think if you're a Leeds fan and you're looking at it now with 9 weeks to go at window that we're going to struggle to stay up based on what you're seeing, I don't understand it.
Again, people are acting like the window's closing tomorrow and that's it. We're going with what we've got. There's 9 weeks left.
Yeah,
9 weeks of the window left.
100%, mate. It's a madness. It's a madness.
The problem we've got is we can't just go to a team and say, oh, is he not playing? We'll give you 40 million for him. You know, like some other teams can.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know.
We've got to wait for dominoes to fall.
Yeah, of course.
We've got to wait for him to go there, then him to replace him, and then him to replace him before we can have him. And it's like, it can be a long process.
Eco warrior, Priestley.
Eco warrior
with light off. Save it, planet.
Lights on.
Adam Priestley, saving their planet one light bulb at a time.
look, the fucking light's on, dickhead.
Oh, I love it.
Fucking
Sunderland have massively overpaid for Diarra, by the way. In my opinion, they've slightly overpaid. I was thinking around the 25 mark, but
another one I heard on Diarra was he wanted a relegation release clause in his contract, which the 49ers are flat out refusing to do.
That's what you've got to remember, right? Even if, money wise, which you know we hadn't gone to that money, even if we'd have offered the same money, and it comes down to the detail of the contract, Priestley, 100% on the money. I'm glad you brought that up. We ain't giving anyone those kind of release clauses again. We've been there, we've done it. No loan clauses, no cheap fee so you can move on if you get relegated. We aren't going to do that. Sunderland probably are. Sunderland are going to have to take these little gambles to get these players. We've been there, we've done it. We aren't going to do that now. So if it's a case of we ain't going to put that detail in the contract, Priestley, we've got to miss out because we can't do it.
Yeah, the only reason we put those clauses in the contracts was so that they take pay cuts.
Yeah. I'm really happy with how the club are doing the business at the minute, mate. And...
Lights on, it's a 10-watt bulb. It's still brighter than you, Rumsey.
Love it. Yeah, I think so, John. I think Ramazani will have a breakthrough season this season. If he wouldn't have been injured against Watford at home early doors last season, I think it may be the other way around. And Solomon might not have got. That's my wild take. Solomon might not have broke into that first team because Ramazani, up until getting injured against Watford, was our best player.
Yeah, because Solomon was out injured, wasn't he? And then Ramazani got injured just as it coincided.
Just at the right time. Just at the right time. It's all about time in this football.
Exactly.
So for me,
what's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke? Timing.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. We're bound to compete for same signings. It'll go all one way. We are gonna, mate, 100%. No one's mentioned Schmidt. I don't know what to say about Schmidt, mate. I've heard nothing about Schmidt.
That's another one as well. That's a weird one because every time I've seen him play, he's looked good.
Yeah, he has. Even though he's out of position to what we thought we were signing. Sign a fullback and he's playing in midfield.
Yeah, he played everywhere but fullback.
He's a good player. I think he might be that. If we don't re-sign Byram, maybe he's partly the reason. Maybe he's that second choice.
Like a Swiss Stuart Dallas.
Fullback. Yeah, he is, mate, to be fair.
Can play everywhere and nowhere.
100%. What's these last things I've just... Yeah, so this one as well with Cresswell. It was his father getting involved that did it for him. Maybe, but I tell you what, you want to see me down at my son's under sixes. I'm down there firing shots when I'm happy about him as well. He got put in net the week. What you've got to
remember about that comment as well is his brother's still in the under-21s, Alfie.
Yeah, he is. Is he going to be as good as his brother? What position did he play?
He's a striker.
Yeah, 41. Are you lads coming to Ireland for the friendly against Milan?
I'm not.
I am there, Patrick. Me and the wife are going. I cannot wait for it. Cannot wait. Staying 2 nights, Friday to Sunday. Yeah, hotels are very dear. So I've got 1 night in a hotel Friday night, and then I'm staying at Darren from one of the Leeds Bros' house on the Saturday to keep costs down and see what's going on with him. So yeah, happy with that, mate. Can't wait. Even though we're probably going to be playing a B team, Priestley, by all accounts now.
Yeah, they're playing Chelsea next day in London, aren't they? So...
Ridiculous. But don't get me wrong. It might give us a chance to
everybody were really excited about watching Luka Modric play, but he's going to be in London day after it.
100%, yeah. He's going to be in London. Yeah, it is, but we might spank him. And then it'll be, who cares? It's 50,000 Leeds fans watching a game of football. We don't care who we're playing, let's be honest. I agree in the clauses. We only want people who want to wear the shirt. Diarra didn't. Fuck him. Yeah, that's it, bash baits. Right, Priestley. Oh, you want to add, mate? It's been a really good stream, this, to be fair.
No, I think we've got through everything. I mean, you messaged me earlier and said, see what you can do, and like literally I found 6 straight away. Yeah, and that was within 5 minutes of looking because they're just everywhere, these idiots.
Didn't you say you was in the shower at the time when you were looking for some of these?
Yeah, because I literally just got in the shower when you messaged me, and I thought I'll have a quick look.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let the cold water go over me sunburn.
When you had a quick little look when you were in the shower.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll leave it at that, my mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. I like to get you on from time to time. I can't wait for the season to start and get you on for match reactions and stuff like that. And yeah, like I say, the news is I aren't on as much these days because it's not my bag. But really enjoyed you coming on, mate. Love you.
Yeah, you don't like it close season, do you?
Not at all, mate.
You started being a rugby fan again.
I have, mate. Come on, Leeds Rhinos. Come on. Yeah, cheers, Alan. Thanks for all. Yeah, honestly, anyone who comes in, Sunderland fans, anyone you welcome, it's great banter.
You're not going to get any malice from us. It's all good fun, and I hope Sunderland do stay up.
Yeah, me too.
Not at the expense of us, but I hope they stay up.
2 little pip, motherfuckers. Yeah, you too, Herbert. Take care. Please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're new here. Great numbers, but nearly 100 for full stream. Priestley, you haven't turned them off, which is good.
Please donate to the Leeds Creator Cup.
Yeah, please check them out. Please check out the league.
We're not expecting you to buy tickets to come and watch us fat lads run around the
We are.
But please donate.
We are, mate. We are. If you can get there, get there. If you can't, donate. It's for Prostate Cancer UK. Look at this great stream, Matty and one of the 7 dwarfs. Love it. Cheers, Ina. Good lad.
You know, I could say something to get me cancelled, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Let's not get cancelled, mate. Cheers, Brookie. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. Top Shaw, boys. Cheers, Neo King Fairy. Take care, everyone. Have a great start to your week, and I'll see you on the next one at some point this week. Love yous, man. Take care. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.